going on, guys? Welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. I'm Brad.
I'm Miguel.
Sunday, August 21st. So sorry we're getting a little bit of a late start. We were literally about to start the show, and big crash of thunder. Lights went out. Internet went out. My place.
It's not mine. Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that I can see the sky out the window right now, and it's kind of iffy, but I think we'll be okay. I think the storms are moving away from me. So, happy Sunday. Hope you all had an amazing weekend. Listen, there is no better way to start off not only our Classics Revisited series, but also no better way to kick off your work week than by watching one of the most controversial monster movies of all time, one of the most controversial Godzilla films of all time. We are watching Roland Emmerich's Godzilla together, my friends. It's about to happen.
It's gonna be painful. Say that much.
I don't think it's gonna be. Listen, it's gonna be fun for me. I've actually, listen. I've been looking forward to this for a number of reasons. Number one, we are big MonsterVerse fans. You guys know I'm a big Kong fan. Miguel's a big Godzilla fan. And this is one of those films that's talked about so much within the MonsterVerse community, even though I know this is not, the MonsterVerse, the legendary MonsterVerse that we're accustomed to, but it's one of those very talked about films because of how controversial it is. For me, I'm looking forward to watching it with you just because I'm curious to kind of see what conversation comes up because you're such a big G fan. And I understand the hate that this movie gets because it gets a hell of a lot of hate. And I get it for certain reasons, but I also have to admit that this is one of those films that was like a childhood staple for me. I mean, I have such fond memories of watching this movie. The VHS, like with let me pull it back up, the green and black and yellow lettering. And it's one of those movies that, like, when I think about films that define my childhood, this is one of them. So Miguel, tell us a little bit real quick before we're not going to keep talking too much before we start the movie, but kind of tell us a little bit about your experience with Roland Emmerich.
With this movie in particular?
Yeah, with this one particularly.
Okay, how to best explain it, other than the fact that it is well established that the Godzilla fan base are not fond of this movie. It's a very niche group of Godzilla fans that love this movie, primarily because of the fact that it is, without a doubt, like the biggest middle finger you could give to Toho Studios from, is it New Line Cinema or is it Paramount?
I think it's.
See, I don't even know the fucking studio.
So what do you mean? What studio produced this film?
Yes.
I want to say it was the same studio that did Independence Day. It's TriStar. That's what it was.
Yes,
TriStar.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is TriStar because there is little Easter eggs of Independence Day in this movie, if not very slight. It's like small things that you'll miss, but
it feels very 90s.
It's without a doubt a very 90s movie, which is, it's fine. But look, I'm not going to harken this movie and tell you how much of a piece of shit it is, because it's not really. I mean, it's a good movie. It's just the fact that I've said this with Resident Evil movies. I've said this with almost every other zombie movies with Resident Evil. And with this Godzilla in particular, like, it's not a bad monster movie. The only problem is that you just named it Godzilla. If you took that tag out of the way, it'd be a dope movie. It'd be a nice 90s monster movies that we would have got back then. But unfortunately, you marketed this movie as the titular Japanese icon that everyone's come to love in the States and in Japan, is finally coming to U.S. markets, and you give us this. And that's why we have such a strong disdain for the movie. Now, it's not to say that I'm going to sit here and belittle the movie. I will enjoy this movie for what it is. A very good monster movie from the 90s. Very close to how they tried to do an Independence Day. But this is by no means me saying that this is a terrible movie. Okay? It's not. I just don't think it's a Godzilla movie. So that's what I'll say.
Well, and I don't know. It's interesting. I actually do really like this movie, and you know, I've never
Again, I
understood
hope I
hate for it.
explained that
Like
enough. Like, it's a
you
fine
did, you
movie.
did. I
Okay.
think part of where the hate comes from is because they did change certain things about the character, and Toho did give. I don't know if you knew this, but Toho gave TriStar a 75-page document stating what they were and were not allowed to do with the character.
Mm-hmm.
The things that I found, it included his origin story had to be tied to a nuclear disaster, like that. That was
Mm-hmm.
required. He couldn't eat people. He could only eat fish. They even, like, the design, that he had to have 3 sets of dorsal plates on his back. Like how many fingers and toes he had. He couldn't be made fun of. He couldn't die. Like, they gave him a lot of things, which of course, as you know, was disregarded. And the reaction from a lot of Toho execs were really mixed. I told you this earlier. Some of them walked out of the theater after seeing this film at the screening. Steven Spielberg, a whole lot of people even tried to talk Roland Emmerich out of remaking Godzilla because they said that it was going to be career suicide and you couldn't possibly remake that original film. I just realized my light isn't on because the power went out, so now you can all see me. But yeah, like this film just really, it had a lot not going for it. So I don't know. I think it's a fun movie. But let's get into this, and we're going to see for ourselves. So it's been a while since I've actually gotten to watch this. Oh, by the way, the other reason I'm super, super excited for this, look what I found in the store.
It's time, guys.
Oh, it's time. And I know this isn't really a fall movie, but you know what? I don't care. It's our show, so I'm going to drink it. So, oh, look at that beautiful amber color. I love it. I've had this before. I'm just really excited to have it again for this time.
Oh shit! Watch out, son.
I know. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'll finish pouring in a minute. So, again, this kicks off Classics Revisited. This is just going to be a part of the main show. But if you have never done a commentary with us, this is the cool thing about this show is you can do one of two things. You can watch the film live with us. You can start it when we start it. You can kind of go beat by beat, shot for shot as we watch the film. Or you can just kick back and enjoy this like any other show or any other podcast where you can just listen to us talk about it as we watch the film. So whatever you're doing, whether you're watching with us right now, whether you're watching after the fact, be sure to leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you think of this film and kind of where it falls. Are you on the camp that hates this and thinks it's an awful Godzilla movie? Or are you like, hey, this is actually a pretty sweet, even if it's not a great Godzilla movie, it's a great monster movie and it's a fun movie all around. So also, if you're watching with us live, I see Rosalia in here. What's going on? Rosalia says, so cool that you're talking about this movie. It's not as bad as everyone made it out to be. I completely agree. So, but just in case, if you are watching in the chat, again, I'm going to be going through multiple screens here between my notes and between HBO Max and between, back to the chat and things like that. So it may take me a little bit to get to the chat, but we'll get to it throughout the show as well. So we're watching on HBO Max. I think this is just the standard theatrical cut. I don't think there's any other cut. So we are paused.
No Emerald cut.
There's no Roland Emmerich cut. So we are paused at 0 minutes, 0 seconds. If you're going to watch with us, obviously we can't throw it on the screen or else our channel would probably be taken down, but so be it. So let's do this. We're paused at 0 minutes, 0 seconds. I will say 3, 2, 1, play. And when I say play, you're going to click play if you're going to watch with us. So here we go. Miguel, you ready? You're on 0 minutes?
Ready.
All right.
0 minutes.
3, 2, 1, play. When I say play, we click. Here we go.
Oh, shit. I thought you said play. Shit. Fuck. My bad. Okay. No, I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. I'm really excited for this. I'm going to be straight up with you.
I mean, so am I too. Just because I haven't seen this movie in such a long time.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely has been, like, since I was, like, in my, like, early teens, I'd got to say. And then I just didn't watch it ever since then. Because, like, after I got into Godzilla, it was like, bro, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like, what is this? And
I am going to
so,
be at 35 seconds in 3, 2, 1, 35.
okay, good.
You good?
Yep.
Okay, first sip of Oktoberfest. Here we go.
Does it taste like
Oh,
October?
it tastes like a nuclear disaster. No, I'm kidding. It tastes really
Oh
good.
my god.
God,
Oh, was that a Godzilla reference? That's so funny.
it was. Get it?
Yeah.
It did say this opening sequence is kind of cool too. You get the yellow, and it's like it's the kind of thing where it doesn't have to go deep into his backstory for you to get what happened. You know what I mean? Especially
Hmm.
since it's an established character, it's an established IP. You know, you still get
I used to.
the classic
No.
music too. You know,
Okay, yeah, somewhat. And I get that they tried. They're like, because I was really trying really hard this week to like try to figure out what Easter eggs they laid out for us for as like Godzilla fans from the original Toho franchise, and it was really hard to find some, dude. It really
that's fair.
was straight up all the way down to the roar. The roar was very similar, but by no means was it like the iconic one.
Yeah.
So like I don't remember how Godzilla was born. Was he born by the nuclear explosion or was it just
I
radioactivity?
think
Like,
it was radioactivity. It was like nuclear. I think it was
mm,
nuclear. If I remember correctly, I think it was nuclear testing that like caused the mutation.
okay.
It's funny. I was again doing a little bit of research. So TriStar was extremely secretive about the design of their Godzilla. So they purposely made fake designs and sent them to all the merchandise manufacturers to try and test who was going to leak the design. And in 1997, Fruit of the Loom leaked the faked images of the Godzilla design. So Fruit of the Loom lost their contract to make any Godzilla merch.
That is
So
hilarious.
like they were trying to be very secretive about it. So I don't know. Like they purposely fake or leaked fake information.
That is so funny. I wonder what the leaked picture looked like.
I know. I would love to see what those were. The opening credits is cool. It really is. I like this opening
Yeah.
credit. It does the trick.
Nope, I'm not saying anything about it, but oh well. It just sounds very like Independence Day ish, if you know what I mean. Like, when did Independence Day come out? Was this like before or after?
This was after.
Okay.
See,
Yeah, that
TriStar
makes sense.
passed on this. They pitched it to Columbia, and Columbia passed because they thought that it had the potential to be really cheesy, and they didn't want to do that to the character. But
Hmm.
yeah, TriStar passed the first couple times. Listen, do you know what this movie has on Rotten Tomatoes? Take a guess. It's the lowest Rotten Tomato score I've seen out of any movie we've ever covered.
Probably like 9.
It has a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes.
God damn. Okay, let's try not hating the movie so much right now.
I'm not gonna hate it. I adore this movie.
I will say though that they really did a good job in like emulating the very like massive tone of and dark tone of Godzilla like in the
Yes,
beginning of this
I
because
agree.
yeah, because something that was one thing that I really did like back in like in the Godzilla franchise was in the 2000 millennia Godzilla, they kind of did the same thing with this but made it more dark and scary,
Right.
less technology based because like in the 2001 it was literally just a fishing boat that was caught in the crosshairs of Godzilla, and
All the
it made
knives
him
fall.
see, yeah, it made it seem so like daunting and way more scary than just this massive ship that was
Right.
just in its path. So
This was scary. Like I remember, like 5-year-old me thought this was actually kind of freaky. You know what I mean?
I agree too, like that right there, like the claws going into the ship It's like, bro, like like how the fuck would that? Where did that come from? Like no one
Yeah.
would know.
And they still tied in the Japanese origin, you know.
What? No, it's just it just. Golly, did you see that?
And we immediately cut to Matthew Broderick. Dude, I love Matthew Broderick. And they tie like I do like that they did tie in the Japanese origin, and they tied in. I feel like they tried. Like I think they took a big swing for the fence, even if it didn't 100% land. Like I commend them for trying to do something new. You know.
See, did they make like a Japanese connection? Because I mean, all as far as I'm concerned, it just attacked a Japanese ship. That was it.
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't know.
Yeah. If you think about it, and it wasn't necessarily like it wasn't Japan that was testing nuclear power. It was the states, and the states just so happened to create Godzilla, and Godzilla just so happened to fuck up Japan.
Yeah. Well, and again, I have some notes and things like that, but like it's funny because like there were a lot of expectations for this, and I think it just didn't necessarily land completely. Like some of the execs from the Heisei period and from the Showa period were actually like really, really optimistic, and they were really excited about what they did. But I don't know. I think over time it's grown a little bit more love, and people have learned to love it. They wrote this role for Matthew Broderick, by the way. They always had him in mind to do this. Nico.
Rosalia said, "Did you know that Matthew's character Papadopoulos was named after the makeup designer for Godzilla's Patrick Papadopoulos?"
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, the guy. I think he was the makeup designer, and I think he played him in one of the original Godzilla films, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Patrick Papadopoulos.
I think isn't it Totopoulos? What it? Let me.
I don't know.
IMDb
They just had the entire conversation.
Yeah, Dr. Nico Totopoulos. That's his name. The trailer came out a year before this movie released. The trailer was out a year before the release. That's a lot.
Was what?
The trailer came out a year before the release. Well, they also call this Godzilla Gino. Gino. They call him Gino. Godzilla in name only.
Oh, God.
Well, and listen, I know. Did the gender swap thing piss you off?
No, not particularly.
I don't really care.
Because at that point, like we left all notions of Godzilla.
We were already gone at that point.
Yeah, we were already so far gone.
It was over. This Rotten Tomatoes, just little brief review says, after a very promising start, this movie falls apart almost as soon as Godzilla makes contact in Manhattan.
See, this right here is the only connection to the original franchise. That's it.
Godzilla.
That was it. And they were like, and then we're gone.
Yeah. I never realized he said Gojira. I always thought he actually said Godzilla. But it was
Gojira. Yeah, it was the actual Japanese word for Godzilla.
Also, you gotta love the '90s, like the '90s things. Dude, I love that guy. He what is his name? He also plays Kevin Dunn. Yeah, he plays Hicks. Hello. Totopoulos.
It's Totopoulos.
If we're being honest, why did they call Nico in? The dude studied earthworms.
I know. I didn't fully understand why, but I love how Matthew Broderick's character is just like so snooty. It's like, do you realize what you've interrupted? It's like, bro, shut up. I did like this scene though. I will say.
Yeah, this was cool. Listen, it has its moments. It really does. Like, that's pretty cool.
It's just Matthew just saying like,
I
"What
know,
is
right?
it? I don't see it." It's like, bro, use your mind. Use that degree, PhD of yours that you have.
Did G always have 3 toes?
No, it was 4. No, it was 4. So 3 and then like a big toe, something like that. Yeah.
Could you imagine if the government just randomly found giant footprints like that?
I mean, who's to say they haven't found it yet? Who's to say they haven't found it already?
Okay, if there was a giant lizard walking around, it'd be kind of concerning. I feel like we'd have found that by now.
We don't know that. The French?
He goes. The Halloween theme? It went bum 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 bum.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. Follow the footsteps.
New York City. If I was smart, I would have drank a Manhattan. But I have my Yankee shirt on, so I got a little bit of New York going on at least.
Yeah, there you go. Dude, can you even make a Manhattan?
What's up,
Hold the fuck up.
Stinkzilla?
Hey, man. It's glad to see some Godzilla fans come in here and watch probably one of the most abysmal movie we got of our franchise.
Listen, if you want to watch with us, we can't pull it on screen, but if you want to watch, we will be at 13 minutes and 20 seconds in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 13:20.
Stinkzilla, we're talking about the 1998 TriStar Pictures Godzilla. Now, before you leave, okay, understand that this isn't the only Godzilla movie we're going to talk about. Okay,
no.
I am a huge Godzilla fan, so I was willing to watch this, and on the off chance that we can watch more Godzilla films.
We just knew that this was going to be a blast, and we already settled our first 2 for Classics Revisited. We're going to be Godzilla 98, which is very controversial, and Kong 2005, which I think is like one of the best movies ever made. So at least that's a big step up.
Yeah.
I also read that for the role of Audrey, they actually wanted Sarah Jessica Parker, who is married to, I don't know if they were married at the time, but she ended up marrying Matthew Broderick, but they gave it to this girl. And I don't think she, Maria Patillo, I don't think she had too much of an acting career after Godzilla.
Don't blame him.
Oh my God, you're awful.
He's still married to Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, he's still married.
That's so funny. Golly. If you see Matthew Broderick now, he looks like such a psychology professor. It's so hilarious.
Yeah, he really does. I've always loved him though, man. He's great.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's such a 90s movie. That was a Honda CRX, I think.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. All like the scrapes in the side of it and stuff, and it's all bent up and messed up. That's awesome.
So they do that same scene in the 2003 or 2004 film Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, where instead of a ship, it's actually another monster. I think Kumonga or something like that. And it's such a cool scene as well because it shows like the massive scratches on this creature who's without a doubt like big for its own size, but then was killed by Godzilla, which like emphasized its like size compared to like any other monster out there so far.
Yeah. You know, they based his movement, kind of talk. I know we haven't even seen him on film yet, but they based his movement off of alligators and like actual lizards and things like that. And I think they wanted him to be a little bit more lizard-like in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. I mean, I'm okay with that. Like we see the iguanas and stuff at the beginning. Like they laid the groundwork for that, and it works for this film, you know.
Yeah.
Mr. Roach. I like that guy, dude. That guy's always struck me as just being awesome. Bumblebee tuna.
Of course, the tuna.
What was that? I always wondered what it was.
Your guess is as good as mine. Because
I guess the fish that he was eating. I don't know.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Also, now we're on the eastern seaboard. That reminds me of Jaws.
My man
I'm
swims
tired and I
fast.
want to go to bed. Well, I had a little drink about an hour ago. When they're all drunk and they're singing and they're like showing each other their like scars and shit.
Yeah.
Ooh, listen to this. So I had read this earlier. Roland Emmerich was not fond of the original Godzilla, and the only reason he signed on was because they said, "Hey, man, you can do whatever you want with this. Like, I know they gave us this document, but like, it's like go ahead and like put your spin on Godzilla, right?" And
like, how big of a fuck you is that to the entire franchise, though? Like, Jesus,
it kind of is. But here's the thing. Listen to this. He says, this is on Wikipedia. Emmerich decided to completely reinvent Godzilla's design because he thought the original Toho design didn't make any sense. Emmerich also discarded the previous design approved by Jane DeBont, stating, "I saw the creature they designed for TriStar's first attempt. Jane DeBont created a Godzilla that was very close to the original, but it wasn't right because they thought, because today we wouldn't do it like that." So he didn't like the design of the original Godzilla either.
He didn't think it would be the same designs like nowadays, like present day.
Yeah, he thought it needed to be modernized.
I get it because like there's over like I think 12 different types of design. I may be lowballing that too. 12 different designs
quite a few
of Godzilla.
Different designs.
Yeah, so it's definitely one of those things where it's like you kind of got to give this movie for what it is.
That's
because
a cool shot.
Yeah, it really is. But like I said, this is just one of the designs of Godzilla that is forever solidified in its legacy. So,
too. Hang on, I love this. I think you hear him here, or her, I guess.
Don't you dare misgender her.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh.
I thought that was Godzilla. When I first saw this, I thought that was Godzilla.
Yeah. Can I ask a legitimate question? And this isn't Godzilla related. Why did lightning effects look so terrible in the 80s and 90s?
I don't know. Probably because the CGI was just so bad. But I will say this: I think it's cool that they every time they brought Godzilla, and like at night, it's always lightning. It's always some sort of lightning storm that like
That's true.
emphasizes his power, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Joe Mama, what's going on, man? When I was a kid, I remember going to the theater and accidentally went into an earlier showing of Godzilla and saw the scene of the velociraptors chasing the people in MSG.
The Velociraptors.
Oh, the baby Godzilla's in Madison Square Garden, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
J-Dad's here. What's going on, man? Hey, listen, if you guys want to watch, we're watching on HBO Max. We're almost 25 minutes in. I'll let you guys know when we get to 25 if you want to pull it up and if you want to watch the movie with us, or if you just want to listen to us talk about it, that's fine too. It's up to you. Listen, this is a choose your own adventure. I like this Classics Revisited show. Scientific words that nobody understands. Yes. Miguel, what timestamp are you at?
I'm kind of going to be at 21:49.
Okay, so we're about the same spot.
Yeah.
We're like a millisecond off, maybe.
Okay.
Here we go. This is where we get lit. Also, the World Trade Center. Every time I see the World Trade Center in a movie,
I love how
I'm like,
yeah, I love how like when it told where you were at, it just said the city that never sleeps.
yeah,
As if like we didn't know what that
I know, right?
nickname was for New York City.
Also, they got Hank Azaria to do this movie, dude.
Who's Hank Azaria?
Hank Azaria is awesome. He's the guy who's the dude eating the
is that
the dude eating the sandwich? Yeah, dude, he plays Mo in The Simpsons. Like he's awesome. He has done a ton of different things.
Rosalia said that there's like several Simpsons characters in this movie.
Oh yeah, there are. Like Hank Azaria does a ton of different voices on The Simpsons. But I think there's a couple of other Simpsons actors too. But there's also what else did he do? Oh, he was in the Birdcage. The Birdcage. He plays the guy who works at the bar. And he doesn't know how to wear shoes or whatever. The one who works at the club. He's hysterical, dude. Also, J-Dad says, who wins in a PvP, Brad's beard or Miguel's mustache? I
don't know, man. Mine's pretty sharp. Yeah,
vote on it in the chat, guys. Let us know. Rosalia says, tough call.
We're just yin and yang, man. We complete each other in what we lack.
Siren wailing.
So I didn't know if you knew this, but Godzilla only has like 11 minutes of screen time, which I'm not gonna lie is like a little bit below average for many Godzilla films.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like it. I don't think though.
Oh yeah, this is the scene.
I forgot about the old man trying to fish. Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Stinkzilla said he's not a fan of the newer movies. I wonder why that is. Tell me, man. Why is that?
I just have so much nostalgic love for this movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Do I have a bite?
The entrance scene is sick. Like,
yeah,
it's a really good entrance scene for a movie.
Well, I'll say this: Godzilla just knows how to make an entrance.
That's fair. Like, look at that, dude.
Yeah.
That's so sick. Bro, I would be gone.
Well, you don't even know what it is.
I would be gone.
Did he survive?
I don't know. I don't think we ever see.
I mean, it's
Me.
surprising because we really do jump into it.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we're only 25 or so minutes in. Oh, God, we'll be at 26 minutes in about 15 seconds. I'll let you know. For anybody who wants to watch with us. We'll be at 26 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 26. J-Dead says this is his favorite Godzilla. He never got into the old black and white ones or the later ones.
I can understand that. I mean, I really can. I can understand why people love this movie.
That's sick. That guy died.
Yeah, he looks like 100%
Those
dead.
people died. Dude, I didn't realize people died as much as they do.
Bro, it's a Godzilla movie. People are going to die. I always hated him. I swear to God, he was the most annoying character in this movie.
That scene always reminded me of like one of the older Batman films, like the 80s or 90s Batman flicks. I don't know why. It just did. The look of it. It feels, it looks, it looks 90s.
Get this. So, the fisherman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so even though Roland Emmerich didn't violently attack his Albert
Look at
and
that,
Cisco
man.
lookalikes, he still made Godzilla eat a lookalike of J.D. Less. The first New Yorker who gets killed by Godzilla closely resembles J.D. Less, also a harsh critic of the film.
Solid.
That's you. Look, I gotta love Roland Emmerich right now because he really uses the movie to just throw a giant middle finger to the people he hates.
Yeah.
Just casually just holding the boat.
I know, right? That's so awesome.
Just casually going about your day. You gotta hate that.
Nico,
Epic Retro Time said Gene Reno might be the single greatest thing about the Godzilla 1998. And I'll agree.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good point. That's a good one.
I'd say my favorite ones is obviously Matthew Broderick and Gene Reno.
Yeah. Well, Rosalia makes a good point too. There were some practical effects in this, and you got to appreciate that, especially when it comes to the baby Godzillas.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them were, but a lot of it was practical, and that's kind of cool. Now, the bigger Godzilla
I think
stuff,
they were,
it's like you know.
I think they were going off the hype train of Jurassic Park too.
Yeah.
Okay, but you gotta admit the CGI in this was pretty abysmal. I'm not gonna lie. Then again, it was the 90s.
It was.
But fun fact: so when Toho did Godzilla Final Wars in 2004 or 5, they used the same CGI that they used in the 1990s film for Zilla, because Zilla was in that movie. So they used the same CGI and still used the practical suits for all the other monsters, just to even still do another middle finger to this Godzilla.
Yeah, dude, I like that he like his. That's the mark of a true cameraman, when something awful is happening and he's like, I got to get this on film.
I mean, very true. He's literally staring at the beast itself and just videotaping it.
I know, right?
Back to VHS. Yes.
I always love this moment too when he turns around.
Who starts? That is shock, my
That's
guys.
so awesome.
My only thing is that this Godzilla is just so fucking small. Like
Is
he's
he
about
that
this.
small though compared to
He's
the others?
yeah, he's about the same size as like the Godzilla Junior in 1994, 95. It's weird with the way Japanese release date and U.S. dates.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, Rosalie, a good point. Found footage, LOL. Like there is a little bit of that found footage stuff in here, like little
Mm-hmm.
tidbits of things that you know.
I don't know. Let's ask again in 2019 with COVID.
Yeah, wait about 21 years.
Godzilla versus the Cloverfield monster. I think it's been talked about before on YouTube.
I think I would have to go for G.
Yeah.
I would have to go for
This
G in this
one,
one.
this one, yeah, Cloverfield.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this Godzilla would have a chance.
Yeah. My only thing is, okay, here, I'll say this, okay? While I didn't particularly like this movie all that much, it's still a good movie, obviously, but the animated show of Godzilla, like this Zilla, the animated show was pretty fucking good, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Do you hear that? They did use a little bit of the original Godzilla roar.
Yeah. I like the roar. I think the roar sounds kind of cool. Like even without the roar and without the gender swap and the baby thing, like do you think the look is cool? Like just strictly the look, forgetting about some of the other things they did with the character. Do you like the look?
It's a pretty cool look. I'm not gonna lie. It made Godzilla. It made this monster in particular has a pretty dope design. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
The way it's able to slide through Manhattan, climb the Empire State Building, and like almost like a live animal, just like a small animal, just living his life in a little
Yeah.
cage that you've created for him to climb around and stuff. Like he's just enjoying his time.
Right. He's a dick.
Yeah, he is. Jada had said for the time it came out, it looked great. I would agree.
It
It
really
has the
did.
same TI as like Independence Day, and
Yeah.
Independence Day is undoubtedly like one of the most influential movies of the
Yeah.
'90s.
Definitely. I would say this is too, though. I would put this up there with Independence Day. I would.
You would?
I would. At least for
It's just,
me.
it's
I
just,
mean,
it's just because you don't have Will Smith punching Godzilla in the face. That's all.
we're slapping Godzilla in the face.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the chaos if something like that actually happened in a place like New York?
Damn. That's how
I
old this
know.
movie is.
I know. I know. And the World Trade Center lasted what, 4 more years after the release of this movie? 3 or 4
Yeah.
years? That's a cool shot too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like,
He's like, did Godzilla just like jump right through
I know.
MetLife building?
Listen, he had to have had some momentum though to make a clear
Yeah.
hole. Like he had to have had a running start.
Yeah. So these two, I think they were making. I think Roland Emmerich was making fun of two film critics.
With the two of them, with the mayor and his like assistant.
Advisor, yes, if I'm not mistaken, that is the case. Such a casual, just like
I
snatch
know,
and
right?
grab.
Dude, do you hear the sound playing? Ba-na-na, ba-na-na. I forget what song that is. I don't remember. Dude, this had one of those killer 90s soundtracks, by the way, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like everything has to be a remix of like a classic 90s song, you know?
Yeah.
Like the one I like most, like y'all know I'm a Green Day fan, but like Brain Stew is on there, but it's got Godzilla roaring and it's like a remixed version of Brain Stew. Like it's sick. It was at the time where you had like legitimate like pop songs and stuff on an album, and this was all like heavy metal and stuff. It was cool. It was awesome. Ba-ba-da-ba-dum.
No croissant. I love Reno, man. I love them in The Professional, dude. It's such a great movie.
Well, you know what's cool about Gene Reno's character is uh what's like they kind of kept it in the dark exactly who he was, like other than just being this like, you know, like this 007 mysterious character. So like it really worked that they did that and they kind of kept him under wraps. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
I thought I could make it, but I drank this whole Oktoberfest, so
Small bladder, guys. Small bladder. Okay, so yeah, the mayor. I think like those two were created as like they were like Roland Emmerich created like cheap shots. Like those characters were just cheap shots to like Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel. I don't know who they are. I think they were reviewers. They were film critics. Okay, yeah. They gave it a thumbs down grading scale from Emmerich's previous films like Stargate and Independence Day. Even though they might be cult favorites today, they didn't do well with like critics, which is very common with like all these '90s movies that we've come to like learn and love. So I think it was funny that how Emmerich was just basically doing a giant like to the entire film critics with this movie. So I was confused. Did Godzilla jump back into the ocean, or did he just burrow back into like deep underground of Manhattan? Thanks, Rosalia. I figured it was like one of those two because those two characters were just way too fucking ridiculous for this movie. Sorry, guys. I would pull up your guys' comments, so I'm just reading them from YouTube. And yeah, Brad has control over that one. So yes, Matthew, use your skills from collecting worms.
I'm back.
Hello.
I also grabbed another beer. I switched to Miller though.
Too much pumpkin.
Good lord. I never realized how many helicopters there were.
Bro, it's a giant fucking lizard. I feel like you throw everything plus the kitchen sink at it.
Fair. Ba-ba-dum, ba-ba-dum, ba-ba-dum.
We're already like what 40 minutes in this movie, and there's like it's like 2 hours and 18.
Yeah.
Fucking mad.
It is good. Is this where they're going to feed him the fish?
I think this is it. really early in the movie, if you think about it. Dang.
It is. I know. I feel like this didn't happen until like halfway through. I did see where they made like thousands upon thousands of foam fish. French toast.
I love him. I love Reno. They had camera vending machines back then.
I guess.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. You remember those like older like yellow like disposable cameras that you had to like wind up? Yeah, that right there.
Yeah.
Golly. My entire childhood is captured by those things.
That's a lot of fish.
Yeah, Rosalia said that in one of the most classic line.
Yeah, that's a lot of fish. What's up, the Incredible Hulk? How you doing, man? Glad you're here. Again, for any of you who want to watch, we will be at 44 minutes. Or I'm sorry, we'll be at 44 minutes and 30 seconds. Or no, hold on. We'll be at 43 minutes and 35 seconds in 3, 2, 1, 43:35. Look at all that friggin' fish.
Do you hear that in the background? The eerie roar of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I would say that in regards to Godzilla's gender, I'd say like predominantly he is asexual. There wasn't necessarily
It
like
was,
any
yeah.
type of like statements on his gender. Even though
Yeah.
he had like little Godzilla, Manila, Godzilla Jr., like even though he
Little
had
vanilla
like
Skrilla.
yeah, even though he had like younglings, like his gender was never like in question because again, it's a fucking monster. Like no one cared whether it was a male or a female. It was just a giant fucking monster that
Yeah.
breathed fire.
Yeah.
She said that's pretty woke. Yeah, I'd agree.
Tell me you wouldn't be pissing your pants right now.
I think that's what he is doing right now. Luckily, it's raining, so you can't tell. See, it doesn't sound like Godzilla. It just sounds like another beast.
Yeah.
Jade has a comment. You gotta pull that up.
That's it. I gotta go back to my other screen.
Alex Jones was right. They're putting chemicals in the water and making the frogs gay and Godzilla asexual. That's funny. Oh, finally, the official
I know, right? Like a
glimpse of Godzilla.
full on headshot of him.
And the first person that takes a picture is a disposable camera. Give me a roar. Do the roar.
That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. You know,
That's practical right there.
I always kind of felt bad for him too. You know?
Well, okay. Let me say this: the whole point of Godzilla so far in these movies is to pretty much emphasize who's the real monster here, and
That's true.
it's always going to be man. They
Yeah.
did that in 1954 when Sarah Azaria created the Oxygen Destroyer. They did it in 1989 when they blew up a fucking volcano and like submerged Godzilla in lava. They did it in 1998 when they killed Godzilla, and they did the same in 1995 when Godzilla was under a nuclear explosion because like the whole world was so like testing with nuclear power, which created this nuclear Godzilla. So it was always emphasized that like man is the monster and Godzilla is the victim.
Right. Well, like his death scene at the end of this movie, spoiler alert, but it's literally been what? Oh, I mean, it's been over 20 years now. Like,
Yeah.
but like, in his death scene, like, you kind of feel bad for him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you really kind of do. It's sad.
I think that's something Emmerich did a good job in, was actually pulling the heartstrings of us as the viewers.
Yeah. I agree with that. I would definitely agree. Epic Retro Time says, remember the Godzilla 1998 museum teaser trailer release when Jurassic Park: The Lost World came out? It was Godzilla's foot stomping down the T-Rex skeleton. Yeah, I remember that.
Fun fact: that scene in particular was worth $600,000,
Hmm.
and yet it was never put into the film. Like a $600,000 trailer right there, man. Think about that. It goes to show how bad this movie was gonna flop. Yeah, Godzilla's so small in this movie, dude. There's the tiger fire breath scream.
Well, and that's another thing that I think a lot of people were upset about is they didn't do the traditional atomic breath thing. They did, I think they called it power breath, where it's more
Mm-hmm.
just like the force of the air and it's not necessarily like fire, you know?
Yeah, big mistake. Which thus which thus uh, thorough the divide between this Godzilla and the
Yeah.
original. I'm not gonna lie, I liked his roar. His roar was so it just
I know.
felt different. Which again, like
It
I'll say
fits
this,
it really well.
this monster is pretty dope.
Bro.
Oh, there goes the Empire State Building.
That's the Chrysler building.
Oh, was it? I don't
Yeah.
know New York. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I about said like, can you imagine writing that in a report like the next day, like blows up the Chrysler Building? I don't know.
And of course, people are trying to loot.
Yeah, I love how Godzilla can like see these people.
Yeah.
like with the traditional Godzilla, he just towers everyone so much that it's just like a blip on his radar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's just like when Nick is standing there at the manhole, like he noticed him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
See, that's sick. That
Mm-hmm.
scene was dope. He just like just I don't know. It's like the Michael Myers coming out of the darkness thing where he just like emerges from the rest of the building, and that's so sick. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
He's right behind me.
Jaded says he loves how his eyes look in this film. Nobody, you can't. Like, go up, dude. Go above the buildings.
I know, he just casually going through.
I like how we waited for him.
Yeah. It's such
That's
a
a cool
parody.
shot.
Yeah.
That's a cool shot right there, man. Oof. Jaded says reverse power breath should have been a meal at Taco Bell that tied in with Godzilla back when the movie premiered.
Yeah, like that was like the I feel like Taco Bell is like the company that like was primarily like assigned the marketing of this movie.
Rosalia said, I've had Godzilla breath after eating Taco Bell. Epic Retro Time says, I miss when fast food places promoted blockbuster movies with cheap dude, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
I miss those so
Oh
much.
man, that was so awesome. That was the best, man. What's going on, Fruit Loops R Us? Nice to see you here. We're watching Godzilla 98. We're about 54, about to be 55 minutes in. So I'll let you guys know when we hit an hour. That's in about 6 minutes or so. And we'll so in case you want to pull it up, we're watching on HBO Max, or if you want to pull it up, I'll let you know when we're at an hour so that you know where to start.
He's like, "What are you saying?" What did that mean?
I don't know. Also, why is there a drugstore open when all of this is going on?
Hey, you know what? In times like this, you do need first aid.
That's fair.
So to speak.
Also, I know she was looking for him, but like they just happened to run into each other at this drugstore in
Mm-hmm.
Manhattan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Manhattan's a pretty large place, I'm sure.
It's just kind of funny that during all this chaos, like, you know,
They're talking
what you
about you guys are talking about like toys from old McDonald's like marketing. I have an old figurine from Treasure Planet, the pirate with the metal
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
arm.
yeah, yeah,
I have
yeah,
one of those still,
yeah,
and I forgot what it was. Some spy movie. I have like a jet, a cartoon spy movie. It was like a little jet, and
yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else that I might have.
Yeah, epic retro time. I had the Batman Forever glasses. Well, I don't. I would love to know where they are. They probably broke or we got rid of them or I don't know. But it's just like some of that
Yeah,
stuff. I'm like, man, like
you don't
I know,
realize
like
how priceless those things are
you would have
nowadays.
never known how those like McDonald's toys and stuff like what that would
Hmm.
have meant to you now. But yeah, all the Star Wars glasses from Burger King. Yeah, Burger King did quite a few of them. Do you remember all the Burger King merch from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3? All the
Mm-mm.
cups and all the toys, and yeah, Burger King did a lot of that as well.
Just casually, yeah. Pretty
I
much
know,
made out
man.
with Godzilla.
Yeah, we had a stare down for about 25 seconds, but
Finds that out by a be sure tester.
I
You know
know,
what I
right?
mean? Like,
Yeah.
sure, I believe that. There it is. Where's the fun in that?
He wanted to find like the right, the right environment to do it.
This is very similar to how in the legendary 2014 version of the Mutus, like they went to San
Yeah, it kind of
Francisco, found a
is.
mate, and just reproduced and burrowed a nest down there, and not 12, but
Yeah.
like hundreds.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Ah, yes, the everlasting love story.
I know. It I get it, but like looking at it through like older me eyes, the love story is just like hard Godzilla story, hard Godzilla story, hard Godzilla story, and then it's just like and love story,
Yeah.
and it's like now we're in the Notebook, and then we're gonna go back to hardcore Godzilla story. It's kind of funny.
Yep. Poor Godzilla
Yeah,
just wanted to make its nest. I agree, Rosalia. But again,
yeah,
it's like the whole point of of humanity being the true monsters. Because if there was like an invasive species in that ever
right.
came to the United States, your main goal is to destroy it, or else it fucks up the
Yeah,
ecosystem, quote
yeah.
unquote.
um,
Bless you.
that was a burp.
Oh, okay, same.
Yeah, Jada, thanks, man. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us.
It was like I'm glad you guys are sticking around for this, man. It's like
I know.
even though this isn't like the best Godzilla movie, I'm glad you guys. I'm glad I'm seeing a lot of people that are fans of Godzilla.
I love this movie, man. I don't care if it's not a fan favorite. It's one of my favorites. I love it. Always have. Ever since I was a kid.
How about said? I'll have to like decide which
Good
one to
Lord, how many
watch.
helicopters? I mean, I'm sure they're CGI, but God, there's like 38 helicopters in every scene.
Yeah, right. I'm curious what other Godzilla movie you guys would want us to watch because there's a lot of them. Again,
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out right now which one would I want Brad to see that he hasn't seen in particular. But
yeah.
there's you could choose from a multitude of them. You could choose like a lot of like dark ones, dark Godzilla movies, funny like cheesy Godzilla movies. Like there's a plethora of them.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about this scene, dude.
Again, Godzilla would never burrow into the fucking sewers.
Yeah.
He just said nah to that. Ah, yes. Some of y'all said Shin Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, and one with Mothra. I'd agree with all y'all. Like those, all three of those are pretty good movies. Destroy All Monsters is pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty fun.
Honestly, I'd kind of like to see Shin Godzilla because people talk about Shin Godzilla constantly.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing about Shin Godzilla is not necessarily like it's not necessarily like a Godzilla movie in and of itself. Granted, there is Godzilla is in the movie, but the primary focus is like the Japanese government and like how it would
Right. How it would
react in
respond.
like in the area of a natural disaster, kinda, and just so happens a natural disaster is Godzilla. So
I've never seen Shin Godzilla, so
it came out a year after 2014, and Rosalia, the one with Bryan Cranston, that's 2014 or 15. That's the first legendary film.
I'll tell you what, dude. A whole lot of people. Dave McRae's talked about this whole lot. A lot of people that I've seen on Twitter think that Godzilla '85 is like the best one that there ever was.
The 85, really?
Yeah, 19. There's a lot of Godzilla '85 fans out there.
And I can tell you exactly why. Because it
The poster
is
was cool, where
Godzilla.
he's like over the
Yeah,
city and he's got his arms up. You know.
yeah. So Godzilla 1985 is supposedly like a direct sequel from the original 1954, and the reason why is because it has Raymond Burr, who was the reporter in the original 1954. He comes back in the 1985, and that was I think that was one of his last involvement in the Godzilla franchise. And he has this huge like monologue at the end of the movie that really that'll literally break your heart. So like, and also if you like the practical effects of this film in 1985, they used an animatronic Godzilla for the close-ups of Godzilla,
Yeah.
and that animatronic Godzilla is locked in like a fucking basement somewhere, and it's like slowly deteriorated because it hasn't been taken care of.
Yeah.
So all
Yeah.
you have is like the animatronic Godzilla with the big bulging eyes and the sharp teeth. It looks fucking scary if you see it now. I love that they're all just chilling at a bar after interacting with fucking Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rosalia, check out Godzilla 2014 because that was like that's probably what saved the Godzilla franchise for sure. Definitely it was. It pretty much revived it for that matter because I think Shin Godzilla was in productions when Godzilla 2014 was out, but the popularity of Godzilla grew tremendously after the 2014 legendary film, which I'm obviously a big fan of because this is the one, and uh, there's another one. Oh, right up here because I moved it because the 1954 poster is right there. He sounded just like Ferris Bueller.
He really does. Yeah.
That's so great. I feel like he'd much rather have been cheated on than steal the fucking videotapes.
It's like Patrick Bateman. I have to go return some videotapes.
Or was Reno's goal, like his main like objective was to steal the eggs?
I don't remember. I think we find out when they're in Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't remember exactly what he was there for. That's one of the better things about the script too, is that it's kind of like a secret. Like, it's very secretive. We just kind of like dance
Mm-hmm.
around that French group of like what exactly they're doing there.
Look, all we know is the man can't find a good French coffee.
Yeah, right.
I love how they just like casually run into each other the past few times they met up. I got kicked out. Yes. Great acting.
I've always loved you.
The reporter that has to get the story trope. Yeah, I understand that.
Buddy-doo. I'm not. It kind of does like these Notebook love scenes kind of like come out of nowhere.
Well, okay, I'll say this.
I mean, it works. I don't say that in a bad way. It does work, but
No,
it's just kind of
I'll
funny. I
say
never
this.
thought
That's
about it before.
so this like kind of love story kind of ish like vibe you're getting from this music is it reminds me of the original composer of Godzilla, or like the composer for like the Godzilla franchise.
Was the
Akira
score?
Ifu Akira Ifukube was the composer for the whole franchise, for that matter. He was like the composer for a good majority of the films. And his if you like music, you should check out his stuff, because the way he presents Godzilla in almost all the Godzilla films that he's been involved with shows him as like a force of nature and not like a monster per se. And
Yeah,
so like whenever he's terrorizing the town, it's like a big storm that's coming through Japan. And whenever Godzilla's hurt, it shows like a sweet somber, like, you know, this is just a hurt animal in its environment. And
yeah.
Akira Ifukube does a fantastic job of like presenting Godzilla in a musical sense.
Was the score always so sad in the originals?
In certain movies, so the 1985, the last the last the last scene, if I'm not mistaken, I hope Akira Ifukube, nope, it wasn't him. It was Rajiro Koroku that did 1985. And one of his pieces in 1985 at the very end was very much, it's a very sad song, I would say. It really sets a tone for Godzilla's
Yeah,
death in that one. But you know, like the traditional like sounds you hear of Godzilla and all the other movies, like the military march, Godzilla stomp through the town, like all that is Akira Ifukube. And like the most typical one you hear, like, you know, of him trotting through the town, like 2014 Godzilla and Legendary, they used snippets of Akira's um, Godzilla march through the town. They used some of his music in that, and that just goes to show how much of a legacy that man has left in this franchise.
Yeah. So he's French Secret Service. That's what he is.
To protect enemies, both foreign and domestic. Very American.
Ah, so it was
So it
France.
was, yeah,
It
that
was
was just another fucking giant fu to the fucking
okay.
Toho. It
Okay.
wasn't. It wasn't the States. It wasn't Japan. It
So
was the
so
French. Like, where the
it was
fuck did that come from?
so France did the nuclear testing uh that caused the Godzilla disaster. Okay.
Yeah, like where the fuck did that
Okay.
come from? When the fuck did the French have nuclear
Okay.
power? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Jada,
Ugh.
good point, man. He says you have to have a good composer to bring out the emotional side of a creature like Godzilla, or it just won't work. That's a very, very good point.
I'd agree because it's like what's his name? What's his name in Jaws? Who was the composer for Jaws?
Uh,
Yeah, right. I totally forgot it.
I'm an idiot.
He's literally the most famous composer out there.
John Williams.
John Williams. Okay, how John Williams was able to like present the shark in Jaws and it's like predatory stance when he's stalking like da da like it like that's what really made you scared of
Yeah,
Jaws
but you
because
also don't sympathize with the shark in Jaws, though.
I know, but like it like helped make the shark even more scary than just like a normal shark attack. It made it like
Right.
emphasize its size, its ferocity, its horror of like this giant animatronic like fucking
Yeah.
monster of a shark.
Yeah.
Akira Ifukube did the same thing with Godzilla, except it presented literally every single emotional side of
That's
Godzilla.
fair.
Yeah. If you want, let me double check this real quick. It has to be here. Okay, yes. In 1995, with Godzilla versus Destroyer, Akira Ifukube did the music in there. And if you want the most beautiful and horrific pieces of music in movie history, you need to check out 1995's Godzilla versus Destroyer because
Hmm.
musically that movie is so impactful for the franchise itself. It was like Akira Ifukube's like love letter to the entire franchise because again
Yeah.
in 1995 that was supposed to be the death of Godzilla. Like there was going to be no more. Like Godzilla was going to die. Obviously, we don't have that here. That
Hmm.
wasn't the case. But they really set it in a high note.
Yeah. Damn. I oh, I just read this. Listen to this. So we were talking about everybody in the chat. You'll think this is kind of funny. So we were talking about the toys like from Batman Forever and Spider-Man 3, and like how like Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell, all those different places used to have toys, and they used to do like promotional material for movies. Listen to this. Taco Bell contributed to the marketing of Godzilla in 1998 with $20 million in media support. The marketing campaign featured commercials of the Taco Bell Chihuahua attempting to trap the monster in a box. Trendmasters
Yeah.
manufactured the toys for the film, including the 11-inch tall Living Godzilla and the 21-inch tall Ultimate Godzilla. However, poor merchandise sales for the film led to a cancellation of a toy line based on the animated series. Robert Fried had estimated that $80 million was spent on marketing worldwide for this movie. Shoot, 20 million of that was from Taco Bell.
Yeah. Shut up. The French knew how to drive stick. Get the fuck out of here. It's the US that primarily drives automatic. Get the fuck out of here.
There was conveniently a hole in the fence that they could just like whoop, just slip right on through right there.
That reminds me of a funny scene from like that movie A Man from Uncle. That's
Yeah.
a good movie you guys need to check out.
I'll tell you what, this movie really did a good job of like using locations too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like we go to a lot of different places and we get like I mean it's a 2 hour and 18-minute movie, so it's a pretty long film, but like we get to see a lot in this movie, you know? And you know, you had made a point earlier, like when we first started, that like we don't necessarily see Godzilla a lot. Like, you know, we may see him less in this film than we do in any of the other Godzilla iterations, but at least it feels like you feel the chaos and you feel the weight of what's happening throughout the entire
Yeah.
thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Rosalie, you ask, how does Godzilla live in the sea? Well, he's amphibious is the best way I can explain it.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't look like an amphibious creature, that's usually the trope that they say for Godzilla.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
amphibious because that's the only scientific way you can describe how Godzilla can live in the sea
Right.
for that long and also live in the
She said
ground.
it's a movie. That's how I answered my own question.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go.
Jaded said Taco Bell's got those chalupa bucks, yo.
Yeah, right.
Do you like let all like all of us '90s children, like, do you remember the Taco Bell Chihuahua though in the commercials?
I do. I remember the
Yeah.
Taco Bell Chihuahua. I also remember the Target dog.
Oh yeah, wasn't
Yeah,
his name Spot or something like that?
it was Spot, if I'm not mistaken.
He had like the target, like two little
Mm-hmm.
red rings.
Yep.
Do you remember the way Taco Bell's used, dude? That's like I don't know.
I used to I used to have I used
super...
to have a mini like plush toy of the Taco Bell Chihuahua, and if you press like the little feet in the bottom, it'd be like "Yo quiero Taco Bell" or some bullshit thing like that. Yeah, I used to have one back in my mom's place.
See, I don't know, man. Like I've been in a super nostalgic mood lately, and like, do you all remember the way Taco Bell used to look with like the neon colors and just the way McDonald's and Burger King and all that, like Wendy's and all that stuff used to look like when Wendy's was all yellow and stuff, and Taco Bell had like the purple and the pink and the green and white and neon, and it was just, I don't know, man, it was just a different time. Like I felt real nostalgic towards my childhood lately, and I don't really even know if there's a good reason for it other than I just have, you know.
Yeah,
That's part of the
yeah.
reason I was super excited to watch this, is because I was like, man, like this is just, I'm excited. So
Do you remember like the marketing of this movie in particular? Like, do you remember certain things that they did?
I I don't necessarily remember the marketing for it, but I've seen like I don't know. I remember bits and pieces, not all of it, but
So it's so funny because like
there he be.
they they were really trying to emphasize the size of Godzilla in this movie. So like the primary marketing thing was size does matter,
Yeah,
and
I
it
knew
was
that.
everywhere. Like in
Yeah,
Manhattan, there'd be like a big green like transport bus, and it'd be like his foot is as long as this bus, and like, and if
yeah.
you're like a Godzilla fan like me, you know that like, bro, that's not big at all. Like it's not as big as you think.
I will say, I don't know. I get the iguana thing. I don't know if I like the fact that he just like drags himself around underground. I don't know how I
Hmm.
feel about that. That's a little
Yeah,
strange.
I didn't like the fact that he crawled around, but I will say that it does like present him very more animalistic instead of like just a big
It
guy
does.
in a suit. So like in the Godzilla versus Kong movie in like I think it was 2020, uh they had Godzilla like jump on the floor and like crawl to like get Kong, and like that right there, that scene right there was like a very memorable scene for me and for the whole franchise for that matter,
Yeah.
because it just shows how like animalistic Godzilla is supposed to be.
Right. Well, and it goes back to the whole, you know, it goes back to the wanting to make him more like a lizard or an iguana, where like in this
Hmm.
film, like it's not, he doesn't just walk upright, like he crawls around on all fours too, like a lizard. You know, it's the same kind of thing that Peter Jackson wanted to do with his King Kong film, where he actually moves like a silverback gorilla. You know what I mean? He
Hmm.
swings, he moves, he doesn't just walk like a human, like he moves around and he runs like a gorilla would and things like that. So I mean, I kind of don't mind the more animalistic version of these characters. Like, I think that it kind of works for what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Jade
Oh
says,
my
dude, I
god.
remember, she says, dude, I remember when the Big Mac was considered healthy just because it had lettuce.
Look what I found online. Godzilla 1998 versus Godzilla now. So Godzilla 1998 was a short little guy scared of missiles, loves to hide, starred with Hank Azaria and Matthew Broderick, has no friends, just here to lay some eggs, but still the most successful Godzilla movie ever, adjusted for inflation.
Yeah.
Godzilla now, uh, he chunky ass cheeks clap like thunder. Starred with Bryan Cranston like barely. Not only has a ton of friends, he's their alpha, and the sequel had worse opening than the B movie.
Wow. See, we're getting a pretty good look at him here too, like a full body good look.
I think this is the scene where he jumps into the river, right?
I believe so.
Sorry, guys, I'm cleaning up the chat right now.
Oh, do we have a?
Yeah, but I got it.
Are you getting it? All right.
Yeah,
All right,
J-Dad's
cool.
like destroy all the bots. Let's do it, brother.
Destroy all bots like the military is about to try to destroy Godzilla.
Yeah, I mean
See,
that's pretty cool.
he realizes it's a trap. He's like, bitch, I remember what you tried to do to me last time. He's like, I remember what you tried to do to me. I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
Bro, the military has zero regard for New York City in this movie.
None whatsoever.
Like, if we're being completely honest, the mayor's right when he says that the military has done more damage to New York City than Godzilla has. Like,
Yeah.
they really have.
I love how some guy just had an MP5 at hand as if that was going to
I
do
know,
anything
right?
to this giant lizard.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, this is when he jumps in the river.
I always thought this scene was pretty cool.
It's pretty sick.
Just
Yeah.
clears it.
Ooh, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
Oh, we get to see him swim. I completely forgot about this because we get to see him move around in the water a little bit, which is cool. And that's something, you know, I rewatched I didn't watch the whole thing, but I rewatched a couple of moments from Godzilla versus Kong today, like the new Godzilla versus Kong. Dude, the scene where him and Kong are fighting in the ocean is pretty dope.
It is.
Because we don't usually get to see Godzilla like do ocean stuff very often.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it's really cool to see him like swim and like, you know, like seeing Kong try to swim and fight back, and like it was cool. So
That was
anytime, I
something
don't
that
know,
I
anytime we get to see Godzilla swim in the ocean, it's actually kind of cool.
yeah, that was something that I really appreciated that 2014 the legendary Godzilla did was emphasize Godzilla's like main place is the water. Like he is
Yeah.
so good in the water because he's amphibious, obviously, and you never got to really see that in like all the like the Showa period, the Heisei period, and the Millennia period. Like you never got to see any of that. But until in the legendary ones, you were able to truly see like how like versatile Godzilla is in both land and sea.
Right. Honestly, it looks pretty good in the water. Like the CGI is like actually not bad.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, he like this Godzilla really makes him seem more like like a shark, if you ask me.
Yeah. Like you mean during the underwater stuff?
Yeah,
Oof.
Dang, son. Mm.
The military kind of sucked in this movie.
I can't. Why? The military is so abysmal to Godzilla. Ooh.
Congratulations,
Philadelphia.
sir. You did absolutely nothing to help us, but congratulations.
Right.
Again, it's kind of sad. I mean, I know it's not his actual death scene, but like, it's sad. It really is. You could almost look at Godzilla and Kong both as tragic characters.
I'd agree.
Because again, it's like who's the real monster here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I hate to do this again. I've drank 2 beer. I gotta pee again. I have to.
Dang, dude.
I have to. It's gotta happen. So I'll be right back.
So I think where we're getting to now is the egg storyline, right? Like we're getting to the Madison Square Garden. So we're getting to the area where it gets really Jurassic Parky, I would say. All the rubberized tuna. So I wonder what everybody's take was whenever this when the whole Velocigodzillas came out. Yeah, definitely more. I'm gonna assume that's Brad washing his hands. Golly. Shoo-wee. It reminds me of like that Prometheus scene whenever they finally come upon the farm of like the face grabber eggs. It's like next thing you know, I'm waiting for like the and the face grabbers to start coming out.
All right.
Hello, friend.
Well, hi, I'm Paul.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Oh, are we in Madison Square Garden now?
Yeah, we're I told everybody we're now in the Godzilla egg storyline. Because I'm not gonna lie, this movie I feel like it did drag on. It did drag on.
The I don't know. It is long, but I kind of enjoy every split second of it, though. Too, you know what I mean? Like I do
I agree
enjoy
with
it.
that. Hey, Brad, I'll ask you what Rosalia said. Why do you think a lot of directors like to utilize a lot of rain in some of these movies?
Um, I think it. I think it can set the atmosphere. I mean, I think it's just an atmospheric thing. You know what I mean? It sets the mood. It sets the dreary. I don't know. There's just something about when it's raining. It just feels more. It feels, you know.
J-Ded said, I think the rain helps cover up the limitations of CGI back then.
The rain was also CGI. No, I'm kidding. It
Yeah,
probably wasn't, but I don't know. I'm just
that's
being
so
silly.
funny. Well, I
Slushing,
would say,
chirping.
oh shit, they're hatching.
Yep.
Why still look at it? That's literally a baby Godzilla. Like, that's a monster. Like,
Bro,
fucking run.
I would be gone at that point. Gone with a capital G.
Yeah. I like what you said, Incredible Hulk. This movie was never. This movie. Oh, this movie was the reasons why you like Godzilla. I must have
Me
misread
too.
that, man.
Me
Yeah.
too. It was definitely it was literally the reason that I started enjoying Godzilla.
And
I
I would
always liked
say
Kong, but
so. I would say like this movie definitely like brought everyone's love for Godzilla like into the United States. Like this movie definitely did set the franchise back in place for the states.
I forget. Plus, I had to go to the bathroom. Did they find Nick yet, or
No,
are
not
they
yet.
still just on their own? Okay.
They're just on their own. Cute little mini
I know, right?
Godzilla roar.
There is a lot of them.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the Baby Godzilla storyline, Miguel? Are you okay with it?
I mean, at this point, I kind of like removed myself from this being a Godzilla film, and I was like I said, yeah, and I just thought it was like I thought it was really cool how it was very much like Godzilla. This Godzilla was just trying to reproduce, and just like as every endangered species does, is try to repopulate as much as they can.
Right.
And where's the best place to do it with plenty of fucking
Of course,
resources?
Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden, or like Manhattan for that matter. Like you wouldn't do that in the Sierra Nevada. Like it's entirely illogical for a beast of that size to do it there. So you got to do it
Right.
at the place that's big enough.
Bye bye.
Baby Zillas didn't hurt the movie. I agree with that. I didn't think this was
I don't
what.
think they hurt the movie at all.
Yeah, I didn't think this is what hurt the movie at all.
No. It worked for this movie. Like it really did.
Yeah. Never forget, they are New Yorkers.
They are.
So they weren't believing that there was a nest.
Yeah,
I
they
could
didn't.
totally forgot about that.
They thought he was full of crap.
I like him.
Yeah, me too. Well, he's one of the only people that stands up to the douchebag mayor.
I love that the whole like the New Yorkers want to get back in. Rosalia said New Yorkers have seen it all, so they're like, big monster, big whoop, get me back in town.
Good old payphones.
Yeah. Do they still exist in Manhattan, or did they? I heard
Oh,
the story that they removed them.
yeah, they still have payphones.
You better grab that change, son.
I know, right? You didn't secure every door.
No, not at all.
I think the baby thing was also a way. Also, listen to me. I think it was also a way to make it a little bit more intimate, and like to give more of a suspenseful like piece to it. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
like you get the big Godzilla stuff where it's like running around the city. That CGI looks pretty bad. That did not look good. Honestly, that's the first time where I've been like, all right, that looked pretty bad. But yeah, it needed. I think it works because it's you know, it gives it an intimate, J Dead says it would be like Michael Myers reproducing. Oh wait, they did that in H6 because he raped Jamie.
Oh my god. How'd you feel about that CGI right there?
It was all right. Bum 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 bum.
Why are they just casually popping the door open like that?
Dude, I love how they throw around the popcorn and stuff.
You see the blockbuster?
Yeah.
When you don't want to ride the elevator with somebody.
Also, this scene right here too. They're eating all the popcorn and stuff. Hey man, J-Dad, take it easy, man. He says, dang, you gotta bounce. This was fun. Glad to see the chat active. Much love. Yeah, man. Much love to you, man. See you
Much
soon.
love, man. Take it easy. I think you're going to work too, if I'm not mistaken. So have fun at work. That is so fucking funny. As soon as J-Dad leaves.
What? Ah, it's really
Going to
not
work,
funny.
guys.
Blocking the user. There we go.
Oh, they finally met. They finally met up.
Yeah. It's pretty suspenseful, honestly.
I mean,
You know?
yeah. I mean, it's like 50 to like 60 Velocizillas out there.
Velocizillas. That's the code.
It's
On an
on a
internet.
internet.
On an internet.
Oh my word.
Oh boy. It's on that landline. That Ethernet cable.
Yeah, dog. This fucking weather, I'm not gonna lie, it's been consistent all day.
It really has been. It's been raining nonstop. It does rain a lot in New York, though, I gotta say. It does. That old Sprint logo. So it's not a. I don't know where I ever got the woman thing or the female Godzilla thing from. I guess it really just is, you know,
Well, I think back then, like again, stay woke,
it's
guys.
just asexual,
Yeah,
you know.
no one really knew what asexual was. So like,
Well, they knew what it was, but
they just assumed, or like the general public did. It wasn't like mainstream, I guess, so to speak. So like when they found out that Godzilla was having babies, they just assumed, oh, it's a female. Look at that smolder. I love how they all just. I love how they all just peer through the fucking window.
there's so many of them, you know. The Blockbuster logo, man, rip,
Rent
rip.
Godzilla at a blockbuster near you.
Yeah, Rosalia, you're exactly right. So much '90s marketing.
I love how they run in waves.
They do, right? It
It's
looks
like
kind
it's
of
like
cool. And that's even kind of cool how he tips all the basketballs and the popcorn and the marbles and the gum and
I
all that
remember the
stuff.
scene so well. Like they all started slipping on fucking gumballs. I was like, what? Fuck.
They all made it down there awfully quick. Oh, there was the Taco Bell logo.
That one Taco Bell logo, no matter how much the amount of money they've invested in this movie.
Right.
Jesus.
That was smart though to shoot the lights down like that.
I mean, yeah, kind of just scare them off, I suppose, because they're just babies, so they don't really know what's going on.
Yeah. Taco Bell.
Did I hear a raptor squeal right there?
I don't know.
Looks like that Knicks and Nets game's not happening.
Again, it's kind of sad though, you know? It's a sad day. And we got to have our love scene.
Just blows up like over 50 to 60 fucking Zillas. You know what? Kiss me. Kiss me, Brad.
You want me to kiss you right now?
At least he didn't say a cigarette.
And here's that plot twist.
How did you not see Godzilla? Nah, they fried. They Korean barbecue right now.
See, that's kind of sad.
Korean barbecue is kind of good, man. Oh, wait, never mind.
He's pissed.
I would be too. Yep, save your girlfriend now. Damn, that was a close call. How did they even get back to the bridge? Oh, okay, by taxi.
Yeah.
If only it were that easy.
I know, right?
Nah, Mayor Mel Albert's not getting reelected, guys.
Bro, this taxi gets put through the ringer.
I believe it. Mr. French, he has a name. Very Jurassic Parky, if you ask me.
It is very, it's very must go faster. Must go faster.
Must go faster. Must go faster.
All you need is a shirtless Jeff Goldblum and you'd be like here for it, you know?
Pretty much.
Rosalia says, how did they explain why Godzilla chose New York? I think it goes back to the reproduction thing. I think he needed a place to be able to hide. And I think New York, it's referred to a lot of the times as a concrete jungle. So I think it was just it was a perfect place to hide, perfect place to be, you know?
And I think it went along the lines of like the resources too, honestly.
Yeah.
Casually slips. What did he throw to O'Neill?
He threw him the taxi ID so that they can track him.
Hmm.
See, that CGI looked pretty deep. Or dope. Deep? Not deep. Dope. That's what I was going for.
We had that little slight glitch right there. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
I like how they're like really like going in depth with like New York and Manhattan, how it works.
Yeah, it worked. It worked really well for this. Dude, I mean, that cab is wrecked, dude.
That's pretty frightening if you ask me.
It actually is pretty scary.
Yeah, out of a fucking medallion, the high
I
beams
know,
is one
right?
that blinds Godzilla.
Yeah. Godzilla's like, He's like, what? How do we still have 18 minutes left of this movie? I know some
I
of it's going to be
know.
credits too, but it just doesn't feel like that's possible. I was like this dude, Hank Azaria's going, we're in his mouth! We're in his mouth!
You're going the wrong way. Oh no, what a root canal he has now.
I know, right?
Yeah, that taxi's been fucked.
Yeah, that taxi would have been done 20 minutes ago. See, like, that's
That's
pretty
pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah, that's sick. I do really like his movement. Like, his movement is kind of cool. It's different from the other iterations, you know?
I'd agree. Like Godzilla, the original Godzilla would just plow through that fucking bridge. Like he wouldn't be standing
Right.
on top of it.
Right. Well, see, and that's the thing. The fact that his design was a little bit smaller, like it let them do those kinds of like different interesting things that they wouldn't have been able to do with some of the. I mean, you couldn't do that with like Legendary's Godzilla. You know what I mean?
No, they and it showed 2014 whenever he finally gets to San Francisco and like they fire the fucking missiles at him and he just blasts through the Golden Gate Bridge.
Right. It is kind of sad. I'm gonna be straight up with you.
I mean, yeah, it is. It's just a poor monster that created by man being killed by man.
I know. It's like the whole thing was their fault. The whole, and he gets his one last roar. Even the look between them, like it's just, I don't know. He really is a metaphor for how crappy humans can be, I always thought that tire was kind of strange. Like, why? It's like almost comical. It's still freaking pouring, by the way.
Yeah, never ending. These people have to be drenched.
Yeah. I think they even said they wore like wetsuits underneath of like their like costumes or something because there was so much water.
Yeah,
You even hear his heartbeat. It's sad, man. It's definitely a tragic character.
it was beauty that killed the beast.
I know, but it really well. Like that's why that line is so perfect because like it's true.
Elephant, I think it was.
And that was it.
To for Rosalia's question.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know the answer to that question. And of course, people cheer and it's happy music.
Bro, look, think of it. It's a giant monster. Like at the present moment, like no one truly knows what's going on. They just think it's a giant monster and they gotta kill it.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm gonna kill him.
Thumbs down. I think that was like what that those film critics did is like whether to get a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Yeah, right. Rosalia says just a Macy's Thanksgiving Day float gone wild.
Fuck. I quit, and that's where internet reporting was born.
He's still got that radio phone or the satellite phone. He was a cool character, you know what I mean?
He really was very mysterious. That's how I'd like. That's how I like. That's why I like Reno's character in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Yeah. And here we go. Here's the. You got to
I thought
leave it
that
open
was.
for that
I thought that
sequel. You
was
know
an
what I mean?
egg.
That never happened.
Well, I think that's where the animated show try to do something, but again, that only got like one season, if I'm not mistaken.
There it is, man. Godzilla. Boo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo,
We're
boo-doo-doo,
drumming to the song.
boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, we are. You all can't hear that. Man, listen, I don't get the hate for it. I really don't. I think it's a fun flick. Is it the best movie ever made? No. But I think at the end of the day, like it yeah, Rosalie, perfect. It's an underrated gem. It really is. Like it's a fun flick. I think it did it justice in ways that are not appreciated. Real quick, let me read you this. This is on IMDb. Although plans for a sequel in which the surviving Godzilla hatchling was to be relocated to Australia fell through, the Japanese Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah giant monsters all-out attack in 2001 does make a reference to this movie in its opening scene. In this scene, military men discuss a monster that attacked New York some years before. One of them asks if it was Godzilla, and only for his partner to respond that the Americans think so, but the Japanese official believed that it was a different monster. The
Yep.
American Godzilla, now simply called Zilla, also
Hmm.
appears terrorizing Sydney on Godzilla Final Wars, which can be seen as a reference to the never-made sequel. So
Yep.
they had plans for a sequel, which is why they threw in that last egg hatching, but it never happened. So I don't know, man. This one is like
Well, if
it,
you think about it, I mean, you did get a sequel of this Godzilla because again, in and Godzilla All Monsters Out Attack, they did mention him, and then which pretty much solidified that he is in the Godzilla franchise. And then in
yeah,
2004 or 5 with Godzilla Final Wars, it showed Zilla attacking in Sydney. So like you did get to see what happened to that baby Zilla in New York. So it's it just goes to show that Toho liked even though Toho pretty much got like, fucking
shafted.
rear-ended, shafted in this deal. They used it to their advantage, and even though that Zilla got like a short scene in Godzilla Final Wars, I mean, it did acknowledge the fact that this Zilla did happen. Because
Right.
some franchises would just retcon it and be like, no, never existed.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not it's not canon to the franchise. I mean,
Right.
Toho really said, you know what? Okay, yeah, you guys tried something, and it was successful, so to speak.
They
But
took a swing, man.
Our Godzilla is a true and one and only king, and we proved it in Godzilla Final Wars. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd agree. So like this movie is definitely it's definitely an underrated gem, without a doubt. From what I can tell from you guys in the chat, you guys really do like this movie. I mean, despite the fact that
I
it
love it.
isn't truly a Godzilla film. So again, and I'll say this, like this is a really great monster movie. Like it's a pretty good 90s monster movie out of, the plethora of monster movies we got in the 90s. So I'd say like for this movie in general, I'd say like it gets like okay, for a Godzilla movie, it gets like a 2.5 for me. Like that's the best way I can
It's
explain it,
that
man.
low?
It's
Really?
that low for me. Yes. In regards of it being a Godzilla film. But as a monster film in general, I give it like probably like a 6.8 or like a 7. Like I give it that high up for it just being a monster movie for that matter. So, like I said, remove the Godzilla film. Remove the Godzilla title out of it and you have a pretty solid Godzilla. You have a pretty solid monster movie of the 90s.
Listen, for me, as a movie and as a Godzilla movie, it's like a 7.2. But for pure nostalgia and like childhood memory reasons, it's like a 9.5 for me. Like it
Jesus
really like
Christ,
I
man.
just I love this movie. I have such fond memories of it. So guys, almost 2.5 hour show. It's a pretty 2 hour and 18-minute movie. We think this was an underrated gem, but whether you're watching with us right now or whether you're watching after the fact or listening on one of the podcast platforms, please let us know what you think of Roland Emmerich's Godzilla from 1998. It's a really fun flick, man, and it's definitely one that I'll tell you, I wish I still had my VHS of it because I remember that the eye cover art and it was green and it was cool looking. But definitely a fun flick, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on our very first episode in a series called Classics Revisited. We're really looking forward to being able to explore more classic flicks in this series. Next up, we don't know when exactly this is going to be, but next up, we did say that we are going to do Peter Jackson's King Kong as our second watch. We wanted to do Godzilla 98 and King Kong is the first two of those. So
I will
really
say
looking forward
this:
to those.
we are not doing that at 8 o'clock. That is
No.
like a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's longer than this one. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm literally gonna get off here and go to bed right now because I have work in the morning. So,
Yeah.
guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. New episodes of our shows premiere every single week, and you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at We Talk the Movies. You guys are absolutely amazing. Let us know what you thought of Godzilla '98, and we'll talk to you soon. We're planning Oktoberfest, man. Super stoked. There's a lot of good things coming. We're really excited. There's
Very
a lot
excited.
coming to the channel. So, guys, take it easy. Have an awesome Monday, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.